All right, it's some 27 minutes after 6, and I tell you what, Roland, my clock failed me, but I'm here to do the newspapers.
Wow, that's great. How come you're not late?
Huh? Okay, whatever. Okay, let's check out what some of the newspapers are reporting. We'll go to myjoyonline.com where some of the headlines have been captured, and that's what we're going to run through quickly for you. So let's see. The Daily Graphic newspaper has, as part of its headlines today, Kantamanto bounces back to 2 years. Kantamanto bounces back 2 years after fire. Traders back to old ways, and it says that brisk trading activities have resumed in earnest at the Kantamanto market, Accra's biggest second-hand clothing hub, 2 years after a ferocious fire swept through the market and destroyed traders' wares. Roland, I remember Oko promising some new things in that particular area. We're supposed to have like a modern market or something.
Yes, and we're hoping that will come to fruition, but as of now, it's not. We can't say it's a very good site. Right?
Wow. All right. So also, don't plunge Ghana into more debts. That's according to the minority. That issue also very much trending. They say we've run out of our finances, and very soon we will be losing our destiny as a country as well. A lot of details, we will build on that later on in the in AM Talk. Otumfuo expresses concern over lifeline to city, and the Asante Henry Otumfuo said to the second has added his voice to the view being expressed by some Ghanaians that the pumping of $20 million daily into the economy to stabilize the city may not be sustainable. Let's check out what the Daily Guide is reporting. We're in deep hole. That's according to the minority. Also, Hackman sues 3 over NPP secret meeting. Former Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing in the erstwhile New Patriotic Party government, Hackman Oswajiman, has sued 3 individuals, including a pro-National Democratic Congress newspaper editor, for libel in connection with a recent purported leaked tape of a meeting held at former President Kufuor's residence. Acid found on Afoko. So it has emerged that the address of Gregory Afoko, one of the 2 persons standing trial over the murder of the Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP, Adams Mahama, which was retrieved by the police, contained acid. Business Finder, borrowing IMF to impose limits. The paper is reporting that Ghana's rise in public debt, which has hit 90 million cedis, has become a source of worry, prompting fears that the International Monetary Fund could set limits on further government borrowing. Also, Dumso, manufacturing, construction, others worse hit. So construction, manufacturing, transport and storage, electricity, as well as hospitality industries are the hardest hit sectors in the Ghanaian economy in 2015, according to a report authored by investment firm InvestCorp.
Okay, so we have some of the stories also there on the, well, we're looking at City FM Online. This one has Charles Entry's family appealing against the ruling, and the lawyer said they are likely to do that. Now we also have doctors declaring nationwide strike. Only 9 of us have been paid. That's according to the junior doctors, even though we're told that over 60 of them have been paid. Businessman jailed 6 years for stealing MTN recharge, and violence involving children persists. But government deserves more than Imane's 47% grading. I guess it's just a tussle as to when that very survey was undertaken and whether those promises are stated in the manifesto of the NDC really had been fulfilled in many respects. We're told that, well, even though the research said about 100, Mamavi, of those 200 schools had only been worked on, so to speak, they said 123. There are still issues about how many had been completed as of now. They said 1 by June, and or they said 1 in the report, but they said by June they had completed 2. So it's just the timing of the report and things like that.
So. Yeah, I've also heard them explain that government has said, for instance, in responding to this report, that they've done other projects And then Imani says that we're only looking at the promises you made in the manifesto. So true, you may have done other things which was outside what you stated in the manifesto, but we're going strictly according to it. I don't know. But there were some positives in the report as well.
Yes, there were. And well, we're hoping that we could also have the entire report really analyzed by all stakeholders so that we get to see. There's the aspect about if a government has a 4-year period, at what point do we want that government to fulfill certain aspects? So if you say you want to build 200 schools by year 1, which stage and how many schools would you have started? By year 2, which stage of those projects you've started should be at a certain point in time?
Yeah.
And also, imaginary, would you say people should enjoy what you promised them at the end of your term or within the period of your term? So those are things I believe that as a people we also need to perhaps be giving the marks on for the politicians who tend to persuade us to vote for them.
I think learning from this, when they bring out the manifestos, we should let them put timelines there as well. So by the first year, by the second year, by the third year, by the fourth year, this is what I would have done. So that we don't have to
because, for example, I say if you one credit that was given to government was the building of a lot more chip compounds. And I know that one thing they've always been telling the public is removing a lot more schools and the trees. So those initiatives have been commended greatly. But there are a lot more, for example, about electricity, and we know we're facing challenges, and so, well, projectively, if you say this will come on stream, when will they come on stream, when already we've spent a greater part of the term and things have still not been put in place.
Okay, let me bring you a story on the websites of Graphic. This one says, fake medical student arrested at Korle Bu. When junior doctors, only 9 or 10 of them have been paid out of the 90-something numbers that we have. And we know that effective today, doctors, the GMA, the entire GMA is on strike as well, starting with the OPD. They're not receiving new cases.
Wow.
But this story says
that... Are they receiving emergency cases, though?
Yes, they are receiving emergency, but they've got timelines. OPD effective today. I think within the next 7 days, emergencies would also stop.
Wow.
And then in the next 7 days. So within 3 weeks, if nothing happens, we could begin to see them resign.
Well, I don't
That's
think,
the ultimate. Honestly, I didn't think we would get here.
You didn't think
I didn't think we would get here because they started talking, they started saying
about
this.
3-4 months ago.
They started saying, I remember, you know, May Day, I did an interview and they said this again. And I didn't think...
They even had to extend for another month, I believe. Yes.
So we knew this day was going to come. I honestly didn't think it would.
The thing about labor relations is sometimes you need to engage in a lot more dialogue. And if the other party is not agreeing to whatever propositions you're making, it becomes very much difficult to also try to hold your stance and say, well, this is what I'm offering and this is what you can get. And also it depends on which side has the higher bargain, really. I believe the medical doctors really, they always will be in short supply, and we always will be in need of their services.
Well, for a lot more news, you can go to our website, which is myjoyonline.com. We've got lots of stories on the website for you. If you want to read details of the strike that the GMA has called, it's also here. You can read. There's another story, angry ex-soldiers to besiege Parliament over unpaid allowances. That's also one of the stories on our website.